on YouTube, and I was just looking. There we go. Now we're live.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
It's great to have you here. It's deja vu all over again.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. Tell me about this weekend.
Well, the best part is that we talked a little bit, but we didn't really give out any handicapping information. Or we didn't really dive into any races. So it was just us kind of shooting it a little bit here because we got a big weekend coming up. It's a taste of Miami out there tomorrow. Don't forget about those free pick'em contests. They're back, pick'em.santanita.com. We just did a preview stream for it. If you need a little help building your lineups, they're totally free to enter. The Coast to Coast Pick 5 that combines Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. There's $1 million bonus if you're the only winning ticket tomorrow in the Pick 6 at Santa Anita. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a mandatory payout in the Pick 6. So we've got a lot going on this weekend, Georgie.
A lot going on. Skip, you look great as usual. And you've been handicapping pretty strongly for this show.
You know, I do my best. I put a lot of work into it, and I love this Pick 5 again tomorrow, and even the Pick 6. I like a couple horses in the Pick 6. One of them's a little bit of a price, but a lot of potential tomorrow, and hopefully we can get lucky and cash some tickets.
All right, we're going to go over the big bet, and I think it's fantastic. It encompasses 5 stakes races. It's the Coast to Coast Pick 5, and it is a fantastic sequence. It's been paying very, very well. If you do have your programs, it encompasses Gulfstream Park's races 10, 11, and 12, and Santa Anita's race 4 and 10. So the sequence is race 10 at Gulfstream, which is the Forward Gal, race 4 here, which is the Megahertz. One of my favorite Megahertz. That was spectacular, right?
Such a great turn of foot late, a small little filly, and what they did was they really did a good job of cherry picking 2 of the better races at Santa Anita. Races 4 and 10 are very contentious. They're competitive. There are a couple other small fields throughout the day, but 4 and 10 are 2 really good ones.
Right. Megahertz, Skip, boy, you always heard that. Small horse, but she had a big heart.
Oh, she was one of my favorites. She was just a little chestnut little filly, and I tell you what, she didn't look like much, and she would always be dead last. But her little turn of foot, man, she would come running and just run by them all. She was amazing, and I miss watching her run.
She was great. Then it's going to be race 11 at Gulfstream, the Sweetest Chant. Race 12, the Holy Bull, another spectacular runner. And it closes on race number 10 from Santa Anita, the Thunder Road. I always think of Grease. I'll meet you at Thunder Road. We'll go for pinks. I don't know why. Anyway, tomorrow first post is 12 noon. But first post in the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is 1:17 our time here, 4:17 Eastern. It starts with Gulfstream's race number 10. Gino, let's lead it off with you. What do you make of race number 10 at Gulfstream?
Yeah, this is a fun race. They'll go 7 furlongs for the 3-year-old fillies, and we have some really quality fillies in here. You look, the 3 atomically was only 6-1 in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. Then towards the outside, you've got Undervalued Asset, who's going to take a lot of money. She won by 8+ lengths in her debut. Red Carpet Ready is 2 for 2. She's a super quality filly also. But the one that I actually like the most is the 9, Positano Sunset, who has continued to step forward in all of her races. In her career debut, she ran behind a horse named Pretty Mischievous. That runner is 3 for 4. She's a stakes winner. Her only defeat was when she was in the Grade 2 Golden Rod when she finished 3rd that day. In her second start, Positano Sunset showed improvement, but she ran into a filly named Julius Shining. That's a Todd Pletcher filly who is 2 for 2 and undefeated. She won the Demoiselle in her next start. Then in her third start, Positano Sunset again showed improvement, and she sat a really nice trip. I like the fact that all 3 of her races, too, are beyond 6 furlongs. I think she's got a little bit more foundation than some of the others in here who might be trying to hit 7 furlongs, maybe for the first time, or just go a little bit farther than they've had to. So I like the 9. I think she's drawn well. I think she's going to run really well in this spot. It's a really fun race. It's a good, like, pick 5 kind of race because you probably have to use at least a few in here.
Big field, Skip. Talk to me about your thoughts on race number 10 from Gulfstream Park. Nice big field in the Forward Gal.
You know, I was going to use a few in here. Obviously, the 3 would be one of them. I love the trainer changed to Pletcher, so I think Eclipse Thoroughbred, they probably brought this horse privately. But that horse was really good. I mean, the only one the last race looks terrible, but that was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. But look what her record is at Gulfstream Park. She's got 3 starts and 2 wins, and 2 very impressive wins. I know those were for state breds, but I like the trainer change, so the 3 will be on my ticket. I think the 6 is going to be a little sneaky horse. This horse didn't run bad first time off the break. Carlos David's having a big meet. He's winning 27%, and Rosario sticks with this horse, and that's the key for me. I think maybe he had an opportunity maybe to ride a couple other ones in here. He wasn't named on any, but he stuck with this filly. She loves Gulfstream Park. 5 wins or 5 starts, 3 wins, a second and a third. So the 6 will be on my ticket.
Well, Skippy, it might be that she's stuck with Rosario right now. The way he's going.
Well,
that was a joke. But
well,
right, we're talking about him and Pratt both kind of the same way on both coasts, right? They're both struggling so much. But I agree with you. I think Lynx could get a really nice trip, right? There's probably 3 or 4 horses that could set up really well for Lynx.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And then I wasn't so sold on the Chad Brown firster. I don't know how good that race was at Aqueduct. I didn't like the time. I know it was a heavy favorite that day and one for fun. Maybe I'll throw it on my ticket. I got to use the 8. And then, of course, the 9 that Gino says. I saw all those same things that he saw. So I'm going to spread in there. It's a probably 5 deep, but tough, continuous race, and way to start off the coast-to-coast Big 5 here.
All right, I am before we were live, when we were almost live, we were talking about jockeys, and we were talking about how Pratt is not doing great. He's 1 for 53 on the grass since the meet started, but still getting played like he's the greatest jockey of all time. JJ Hernandez is crushing it. He's ahead by, he's got double-digit 20 wins, something like that. Nobody's got double digits even close, so he's doing fantastic and not getting played. But one of the jockeys we didn't talk about was Irad Ortiz, who today had won 7 races in a row at Gulfstream Park. It was just crazy. Skip, what do you say about that?
He's a great rider. He's a great rider, and that's amazing. Winning 7 races in a week, let alone a day, and 7 in a row. That is insane. That's unbelievable. It doesn't surprise me with him. He always gets top mounts, but he puts his horses in the right positions, and he finishes strong. And I love betting Ortiz Jr. He always rides real good for me. So that's amazing. Congrats to him.
Gino, I've never picked 7 winners in a row in my entire life.
We're only trying to pick 5. We're trying to pick 5 right now.
5, and come on, I can't do it.
I know, unbelievable. He's swinging a really, really hot stick, seeing the ball well, right? In any sport, it's fun to see someone in a zone like that, right? We've seen in basketball when Steph Curry or the 3-point shooters get incredible and they go nuts for a quarter. We see it in baseball where you just can't get someone out sometimes, for days, weeks, sometimes even months at a time. Awesome when the best are feeling it like that. He was in a total zone.
And usually, you just got to jump on the bandwagon when they're like that. So tell me if I'm crazy, Gino, but in this sequence of 3 races at Gulfstream Park, I'm not using Irad in any of the 3 races.
Right. There you go.
That's why I don't pick 7 winners ever in a row. Because I don't like him at all in any of the races he's in. I'm only using 2 runners in this first leg. Lynx with the Rosario, that was a really, really good race in the cash run. You can't tell by the buyer numbers, but on Thorograph numbers, he was in double digits, and then ran a 5 out of nowhere. So 2023 was a good year starting for her as a 3-year-old. And the other one I'm using is Red Carpet Ready. Louis Saez is another jockey who's just on top of his game, one of the best in the country, if not the world. And he's on an undefeated, nice-looking filly for Rusty Arnold. And I think this one has got a big, big chance. So I'm only using the 6 and the 8. Irad, he got those wins out of the way. Sure, forget about it. And we're moving on. All right, the next one is race number 4 from Santa Anita. And, of course, this is the race where Bob Baffert has every entry. No, that's a different race. We're not using that. That is crazy. When have you seen 4 runners and all of them portraying by the same?
In the nominations, there were 16 horses nominated for that race, and 14 of them 14 of them were Baffert out of 16. 14 out of the 16 nominations. So there could have been a field of 12 that could have been all Baffert horses nominated for that race.
Luckily, we're not using that one in the coast-to-coast skip. We're using one of your favorite megahertz with that incredible late kick. And this is a mile. Tough. Another a pretty contentious race, even though there's only 8 entrants. How do you see it, Skip?
You know, I've always been a big fan of Hamwood Flyer. She's a speed crazy mare. She's got a ton of speed, and just they put her out there, and she just keeps going. She ran really good last time. I think, you know, she got beat by Regal Glory, but nobody was going to beat Regal Glory that day. She only got beat a half length, less than a half length for second place. Regal Glory won by 5.5 that day, or 5 1/4, and just for fun, I got to put the 2 on my ticket. JJ Hernandez gets aboard. He's been hot. We're talking about hot jockeys. He's hotter than hot. I don't think anybody's as quick as her early. So I'm going to go 2, and the only other one I'm going to use is the 6, School Dance. I like School Dance shortening back up to a mile. I think she's a great miler. I know she's got 3 starts, 1 win, and 1 second, but she reminds me of a filly that you just kind of take hold, and she's got that burst of speed, you know, that nice burst to finish. I think a 1.25 miles, although she ran great, I don't think she wants to go that far, even 1 1/8 miles. I think her best distance is 1 mile. They're going to take hold, and she's going to come. And if Hamwood Flyer slows down, I think School Dance is going to pick her up at the end. I think that's the only one that's got a shot to do that.
Yeah, certainly Phil D'Amato, I call him the Sultan of Sod for a reason. He's got a trio of runners in here. Wouldn't be surprised if any of the 3 won. Gino, how do you see the megahertz?
Yeah, this is one where me and Skippy see things maybe a little differently. I respect Hamwood Flyer. I'm a little bit worried of the presence of the 1 Bay Storm in here, just to keep that one honest, and especially because they're drawn right next to each other. Now, if the 1 just takes back and sits and the 2 goes, then that would probably be best for both of them. I don't know if they'll maybe let each other get that kind of a trip. So I'm maybe expecting it to be a little bit more of a pace kind of battle up front. Horses that'll definitely be on my radar. The both the 4 and the 7, Closing Remarks and Quattrell. Look at Closing Remarks' recent races. She's lost 3 times in the last 5 races to Queen Goddess, who just won the Pegasus Filly and Mare Turf last week. In one of the other races, she got beat by Sean Tessara, who Skip liked last week and ran second behind Queen Goddess. So she was getting beat by 2 horses that ran 1-2 in one of the bigger races over the weekend and really franked her form. In Closing Remarks, had not raced from March 26th to December 31st. So she came off of a really long layoff. She probably needed that last race. And now she's going to be making her first start as a 5-year-old mare. I actually like when these mares get a little bit older like this, like at 4 and 5. I think sometimes this is right when they will hit their best. I think she's in a really nice spot here. Now, the only concern might be the distance. She actually might be a little better going longer, but I don't think she'll have a problem with a mile if the pace sets up that way. I'll throw in the 7 Quattrell for a lot of the same reasons. Like, she's been pretty close with Closing Remarks, and you see Queen Goddess in there also. And the other one was Nadette for me. George, Nadette, I thought ran really well off the bench. Nadette was behind Rhea Moon. Rhea Moon has won 3 in a row. Rhea Moon won the Grade 1 American Oaks. And look a few starts back who Nadette was behind, a horse named Nashua, who is a multiple Group 1 winner. Nashua was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf here. So she has faced some pretty tough fillies. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun race. As I said, this is a good contentious race. I'll probably include the 2 just in case she does get out front because she's the fastest. So I probably go 2, 3, 4, 7. I think myself in the pick 5 here.
All right, 2, 3, 4, 7 for Gino. I do like School Dance as my top pick. Phil D'Amato and Vasquez. Phil, I think he won the last 3 races today, and Vasquez was more on the finale winner. So they're a tandem that's doing really well, and I think that Nadette first time may have needed that race in October for Neil Drysdale. He usually does better second time out. And Closing Remarks, that workout, 46 and 3. I didn't see it, but I don't have to see it. I mean, that's fast workout, man. So
I think they want to get the horse at least a little bit more involved, right? Like at least a little bit closer. Hopefully you don't have to be dead last. As we got to give a shout out to Chappie, who's watching us at home from the sick bed. He just posted a picture and sent me. So Chappie, feel better, buddy. Hopefully we can save you some time handicapping and you can just put a ticket together with what the three of us say.
All right, that sounds good, Chappie. And don't forget, tomorrow, first post is at noon, right after this fourth race. The Megahertz starts that pick six, and it's kind of weird because tomorrow there's a guarantee if you're a single ticket holder of $1 million. If you're the single, you're guaranteed $1 million. If nobody hits it, or if no single ticket hits it, then the mandatory payout should exceed $3 million on Sunday.
So tomorrow, that means you should, at the very least, take a small swing for 20, 50 bucks, whatever, put a couple big prices on there just so you may have a chance, right? Throw a few 10 or 15 to 1 shots on your ticket just in case, because it would be pretty cool knowing that you were alive in that situation, right? And then on Sunday, maybe you play a bigger ticket when we know it's going to be a mandatory payout situation and we can really sink our teeth in.
All right, let's move on to race number 11 at Gulfstream Park, the Swedish Chant, a grade 3, a mile 16th on the turf course. 9 runners in here, Gino, and boy, I could not. This is, to me, you got to spread in this race. I could not narrow it down to 1 or 2 runners. That's why I'm hoping Irad loses, because he'll be one of the favorites, because I really think it's incredibly wide open. I'm going to try to use as many as I can. What are you looking at, Gino?
Yeah, a couple that are on my radar. The 3 Malimu. This one can close. She has a really nice turn of foot. She's shown it in both of her races. Now, the problem is that she's got some issues at the start, right? She needs to get away from the gate a little bit better, but she really started to roll in that second start. She's going to be on the ticket. Now, I don't know how much speed there is in this race. Because of that, I'm going to throw in Alpha Bella. Alpha Bella's lone turf race was very good. I think she might be able to put a little bit of pressure on the one Sweet Lou's Got Aces, who I don't even really know if Sweet Lou is all that fast. I think she kind of just got the lead in a race where they weren't going that fast, and it was sort of, just forwardly placed from the rail. And then the other one that, would be, Cairo Consort is the horse to beat. Now, she's super handy, but she doesn't tower over this field on speed figures, or she's not like a dominant favorite, but she's really versatile. And she was third in the Breeders' Cup, and she's probably the type that can get the jump on some of the deeper closers. I think I'll use Malimu, Alpha Bella, and Cairo Consort as sort of my keys and my main horses in this leg.
All right. Those are the main horses for Gino. Skip, how do you see the Swedish Chant?
We're kind of a little bit different. I agree with Malimu. I gave that horse out on the radio first time out, and boy, on the turn, I thought at first at the break, I said she's done. Then on the turn, she started making that wide move, and it looked like I said, I got a shot here. She ran really good. She might be on my ticket. I love the price at 10-1, but the one that I really like is number 8, Heavenly Sunday. I know it's coming off a break, but I'm telling you, she's been so impressive these first 2 starts. She's never been asked. She's never been touched with the whip. They haven't even shown it to her. She has been ultra impressive. I love the way that she looks. I think she's got some tactical speed, although the times doesn't really show it. I think she's going to get a great trip, and I might, on one ticket, I'm definitely going to single Heavenly Sunday. Brad Cox doesn't have a winner at the meet. He's only got 3 starters, but we know how good he is, and he's great off the break, and Tyler Gaffalione jumps aboard. I wasn't real impressed with Cairo Consort's last race. We all tried to beat her that day. And we almost did. She ended up winning by a half length, but I wasn't impressed with that race. Maybe she's just too good, and maybe she wins again.
The only thing that's frustrating about her is she's going to run a lot of races like she ran last time, where she stays out of the trouble. And the horses that we're using probably get into the trouble because they're deeper closers. You know what I mean? So that's sort of what she's going to always be in a pretty good spot, because she's got a little versatility to her. But you're right. She's not like a horse you want to single, because she doesn't tower over this field. Like Stephanie's Charm came running late, but Stephanie's Charm's always going to kind of spot Cairo Consort 3 or 4 lengths. So I didn't love her, but I kind of had a tough time just throwing her completely out.
Right. So the bottom line is I'm going to take a shot on one ticket and single Heavenly Sunday. Like I said, I've just been really impressed with their wins. And we don't know how good she is yet. Maybe she's, she could be a Breeders' Cup filly or whatever. She is really, really good, I think. And she's been ultra impressive. So on one ticket, I'm going to single Heavenly Sunday. And the other one, I'm going to use Mally Moo.
All right, single, a pretty strong opinion there for Heavenly Sunday with Tyler Gaffleone, another spectacular jockey. I'm going to be using 1, 2, 3, and 8. So I'm hoping to beat, again, Irad Ortiz, because I don't think that runner looked any more special than anybody else. In fact, Heavenly Sunday now is a 3-year-old, is going to, I think, run much better. And how much better? She's undefeated. The one has got some of the strongest Thoroughgraph numbers in the race. By far, Mally Moo, if doesn't, hesitate at the start, beat a field of 14 in Ireland. So that was, a testament to how good she is. And my top pick is going to be number 2, Padma. Billy Mott, he can win a big race or two, and him and Junior Alvarado, didn't they win the Pegasus? So, they could put together a big win. And this was bred up and down for the grass. It's getting better and better with each and every start. I think the longer the better. And I think Padma is going to love the grass. And going to run a big race in the 11th. All right, the finale at Gulfstream Park is the Holy Bull. What a beautiful gray Holy Bull was. I got to see that one in person numerous times, and it was just spectacular. I'm going to go and give you my top 2 picks right off the bat. I'm going to be using the one, Lord Miles, who, even though I'm trying to beat Irad Ortiz, I thought really came flying late. And my top pick is going to be Cyclone Mischief, who just turned in a sensational race right here at Gulfstream Park. Was doing real good at Keeneland, ran, a nice victory, but then came here and ran a 4 on the Thoroughgraph. So Cyclone Mischief, to me, is clearly the one to beat. And those are the 2 I'm going to be using. And again, hoping to beat Irad Ortiz. How do you see it, Skip?
The 4's last race, Cyclone Mischief, like you said, was really, really impressive. She kind of sat and then just drew off and just kept going. Now, I don't know what she beat that day, but the way that she did it, I really liked. And she didn't run bad in the Kentucky Juvenile Cup. That was against Instant Coffee that just won a prep at Fairgrounds. That's going to be, one of the favorites for the Kentucky Derby or in the early Kentucky Derby pool. So that race was pretty impressive. I'm also going to use the one. I like Irad Ortiz Jr. getting aboard. I like that they put the blinkers on. They're trying to get some more speed out of this colt. So breaking from the rail, and I love that last work. 59-3, Breezy. I watched it on XBTV. It was very nice. I'm going to use another one also. I'm going to use the outside horse, Rocket Can. This horse is bred, to be really, really good. Into Mischief out of a Tappet Dam. She broke her maiden, and it was a slop. So we don't know how good that was at Churchill Downs. But then she came right back, and she ran second in a decent race. I know he's coming off a break, but I don't like the post. But Bill Mott's been on fire. He wins everything over at Gulfstream, or has so far. And I can't leave Rocket Can off the ticket. So I'm going to go 1, 4, 8. All the logicals.
Okay, yeah. Skip or myself, neither one of us used Legacy Isle, who's finished first 3 times in a row, was disqualified last time, but did finish first. So we're throwing that one out. Is that a smart strategy, Gino?
There are 4 horses that come out of the Mucho Macho Man. I'm not using any one of them.
Oh my goodness!
I didn't like that race at all. It wasn't fast, and Legacy Isle was on the lead, and nobody could come and get Legacy Isle, and there was a disqualification after, but the finish was not sexy at all from any of those horses whatsoever. To me, I chucked that whole field out. On paper, there's 2 horses. It's Cyclone Mischief and Rocket Can. I'm going to single the outside horse. Rocket Can, look at the 2 races since stretching out. This horse is just completely improved since going 2 turns. And look at who he has also faced. Instant Coffee, the same horse who beat Cyclone Mischief, but Rocket Can's been a little bit better since going longer. He lost recently to a horse named Confidence Game. Confidence Game was 3rd in the Lecomte behind Instant Coffee, who won the Lecomte that day. Right. So those 2 horses were both top 3 in the Lecomte. Rocket Can sat third, about 3 lengths off, was in the 2 path, was in the second flight. He moved all the way up to the top of the right up to the lead at the top of the stretch, kind of took the lead, but Confidence Dame battled back. He was lone speed that day. So he had a little bit left in the tank after he was headed. So he lost to a lone speed winner who came back and ran a good race after that. If you just look at the rest of this field, if you eliminate everyone from the Mucho Macho Man, if you're looking at this race as horses that are improving on speed figures, I can't bet a horse like Cyclone Mischief at a short price. Like, the bettable horse in this race is Rocket Can. You know, if he's 3-1, he's the value right there or anything above. And I might single him in the pick 5. If he's anything in that range, I'll play him to win, because to me, if it's a race where I only like 2 and they're both going to be shortish prices, I will always single, and I'll always try to single the higher price, because it just gives me set up better, and it gives me a ton more coverage when I build my pick 5 tickets or whatever tickets you're going to build.
I agree, and think we all agree that Rocket can win the race. No question about it. Rocket can. Can we hit this coast to coast? Pick 5 sure would be nice to be alive going into the Thunder Road. And in the Thunder Road, Gino, there's no easy shakes. Full field of 12, highly competitive. How can you narrow it down for our fans?
Well, you're cruising for a bruising in the Thunder Road there, Georgie. As it's a good way to finish off the exotics there. The one that I'm going to start with is the number 10. That's Dark Shift. Dark Shift came into the U.S. on October the 23rd and went over to Keeneland and was in a 3rd level allowance race and got a little action that day. It was his first start in a few months. And at the start, he was in post 10 and he got crossed over on at the start, completely squeezed back, and was way back, in the field of 12. He's about 8 or 9 lengths out of it early on. And he was chasing a lone speed winner. Early in the race, he's 3 deep. Then he moves to the inside. He closed really well from the back. It was a much better race than it might have looked on paper, chasing a lone speed winner that day. And now he's just been in the country for a little while. Like, now he's able to be a little more acclimated to that. DeTorti takes the call. I think he will come running. And he makes a lot of sense in what is honestly a fantastic race. Like, I think 1 or 2 other prices that were at least worth mentioning. Irideo, who's a big price. He's good at a mile. He's going to get back to the 1 mile where he's won a couple times, and his best races are right there, and he never gets bet. Like, he will be a big, big price in this race. And another one that'll probably be on my tickets is Hit the Road, mainly because his A game is so good. Like, if he can take a step forward and really get some foundation off of that last effort. Remember where Hit the Road was a few years ago? He was going to go into the Breeders' Cup at like 10-1. He was super live. He was chasing Mo Forza. He's a grade 1 winner, and he missed a bunch of time. He needed his last start. Those 3 will definitely be on my ticket, and I'll probably have a hard time leaving Air Force Red out just in case he clears the field. Like, he's the type of horse who might be fast enough to just run away and hide. So if I single in the last race with Rocket Can, that'll give me the opportunity to go 4 or 5 deep here and try to close it out, which is a fantastic edition of the Thunder Road.
Thunder Road was won by Hit the Road back in 2021, so almost a defending champ. And Air Force One certainly has looked good in the last 2. How do you see the race, Skip?
It's all about Air Force Red. And we know Chappie loves this horse. We've been betting it with him. He would probably be singling that, knowing Chappie. It is the speed of the race, but I thought this was the toughest race on the whole sequence, in my opinion. Air Force Red, maybe he's too good, and we know he's going to get the lead. We're just hoping, if we don't bet him or single him like Chappie is, that he'll get a little pressure on the front end, because if he does, he's very, very vulnerable, obviously. I was like, I like the 10. I put on my notes, sneaky good race. I saw the same things that Gino saw, so I won't repeat that, but I will say this. The jockey never touched the horse that day. He never cocked a stick. That was a sneaky good race. The 10's got to be on my ticket. I'm also going to put Hit the Road. I like the blinkers off. I throw out that last race. It loves Santa Anita. So Hit the Road's going to be on the ticket. Irideo is on my ticket, Gino. So you said that too. I'm going to put Earl's Rock also. This horse breaking from the inside. It likes to win, like Santa Anita, should get a great trip. And one other one that I might put on the ticket is I'm going to put the 12, Cabo Spirit. Yeah, I like this horse a lot. I don't like the post position. I think this is a tough race. I got a spread. That's why I'm going to take a chance earlier and single that horse, Heavenly Sunday, at 5-1, because I need coverage in this last race. I don't love anything, but I like a few of them.
Yeah, there's even runners that I like that you guys haven't mentioned, just to test how tough this race is. There goes Harvard, won the Gold Cup, for goodness sake.
He could sit a great trip, right?
Right.
Like he might be able to sit
He might.
a few lengths behind Air Force Red, and just if Air Force Red stops, he could fall into a perfect spot. And sometimes it's not as difficult to come off the bench on the turf. I mean, it's a little easier and kinder on your feet.
Right.
Yeah, he comes in with the best last race thoroughgraph number on the turf. Ran a 4, ran a 0 in the Gold Cup. You look at the grass for There Goes Harvard. 3 starts on the grass, 2 wins, and he lost by a nose. So he's almost undefeated on the grass. There Goes Harvard. And we, again, I mean, I'm mentioning him just because it hasn't been mentioned, and he has to be one of the contenders. What's wrong with Anaconda, who ran great in New York in the turf sprint over there, stretching out, does nothing but run fast thoroughgraph numbers, one after another, after another, after another. So Anaconda, and we mentioned jockeys. The Candyman is riding his eyeballs out. I mean, he won another one today, and he used to be a one-trick pony. He goes to the lead, and that was it. You got a speedster called the Candyman, Edwin Maldonado. But now he's winning off the pace. He's winning stalking. He's winning on the lead. He's really coming onto his own, even though, he's not a young whippersnapper, but he's riding out of his mind as well. So he's doing fantastic. It's really a contentious race. This is going to pay. If you can hit this, it's just going to pay fantastic. Don't you agree, Dino?
Oh, man, it's so challenging. Again, as we said, how many races where we were going 4 or 5 deep? So it comes down to ticket structure, right? The one thing that I will always point out as much as I can, we sit there and we handicap for hours, right? Replays, charts, everything. We talk it out. Make sure you sit down and take some time to map your tickets out. Don't do all your handicapping and then wait in your 5 minutes before and you start rushing and then you make a mistake or two. Put a ticket down, cross a couple out. Oh, you know what? That's not what I like. I'm going to add one. Work it out, right? Do it all before so that way you're prepared and at least devote some of your time to your ticket structure, because that's a lot of the battle on these big days.
It is. And it's funny you say that, Gino, because that's what I always try to do. Then I get to the track and I got to see him on the track and who looks good or make sure nobody's wet or sweating. And I'm always at that window pushing those tickets when they're in the gate. So it doesn't, I could be there 2 hours early and I'm still going to be rushing at the end. I'm the worst about that.
So just as long as you don't line up behind Skip,
you're fine.
Don't line up behind him at the windows, then you're good.
I warn everybody, don't go behind me.
When machines first came out, when you could self-bet with those machines, the best thing you could have done was stand behind me, because I left so much money in the machine by mistake in the beginning, right? I didn't cash out.
Me too.
I left hundreds and hundreds of dollars in those machines. I was like, you want to make money at the track? Just stand behind me in line, because I just lost a lot of money that way. Anyway, before we go, Skip, tomorrow morning, you're going to be on the radio show by yourself? Is Chappie going to be on? What's the story? Tell me about the show tomorrow.
Well, hopefully he'll be on. He said he was feeling a little bit better, but still under the weather. So I told him to go buy some Dayquil and some Alka-Seltzer and feel better for the morning. Hopefully he'll be on, and hopefully we'll pick some winners, and hopefully you guys all tune in. Gina will be on tomorrow, of course. But I did want to mention one other horse in the pick 6 sequence.
Okay, go ahead.
That I told you earlier. I'm sorry. It's race 8 at Santa Anita. It's a 1.8 on the grass. I like this horse. I love the replays of its last 2 turf races. It's a price. It's 10 or 12 to 1. It's number 10, Genius Jimmy. Michael McCarthy, my buddy, trains it. He does a great job. He's got a few in here. He's got 3 actually, but I love the replays of this horse. Go back and look at it. Both turf races. Sneaky good replays that it doesn't say in the form or anything. I like that they're putting the blinks on. I like it's getting Lasix, and JJ Hernandez is staying aboard. I like this horse at 12-1, so I wanted to mention it to everybody.
That's cool because Genius Jimmy wasn't not on my radar. So, but maybe it will be now 12-1, and you got Hernandez again. I ignored him, because what is he, just a leading jockey or something?
And let's dominating. I might only go 210 in there. I might just use the 2 McCarthy's because the 2 Escape Artist might be the horse to catch. There's not much other speed in there, and the 10. I completely agree with you on the 10 Genius Jimmy. I thought McCarthy has a really strong hand in there in what could be a contentious race because the 1 San Antonio's going to get bet, the 4 Maltese Falcon's going to get bet. Good play there. I'll give you one in that pick 6-2, Georgie, in the 6th race, the 2 Tom's Beauty. There's not much speed in this race, and she's a little bit quicker than she might look if you're just looking at the running lines. If you watch some of her races, she always has a good start, but then she's sort of taken back or there's a little bit of traffic. And there is very, very little speed. I hope she just has a good beginning. And because she's drawn it down towards the inside, they get aggressive with her. I think she's going to be very well spotted in there. Race number 6, Tom's Beauty, the number 2.
I'm definitely using the 2, and I'm going to jump off a cliff and use number 6, Speed Lane, who has got some of the best Thurgraph numbers. And I only say that because it's Thelma and Louise Stables, the owner. Speed Lane. All right.
Georgie. One more thing. I'm sorry to cut you off. In race 11, the horse that I'm going to single, Heavenly Sunday, how does she look on the numbers?
That's at Gulfstream, yeah.
At Gulfstream.
Oh, at Gulfstream, race 11.
Race 11.
Let me get to Gulfstream. Hold on a second. I was already at
I was trying to ask early, but we're
race 11. What is your runner?
Good. The 8.
An 11 and an 11.
Okay.
So right there with everybody else. I mean, Cairo's Consort ran 11 and a 10. The 1 Sweet Lou's Got Aces ran an 8 and a 9. So that's the strongest ones. But 11, that was as a 2-year-old. So they usually
do 2-year-old
faster as a 3-year-old.
Exactly.
So, those are 2-year-old numbers. She's certainly should improve off of that. And she wasn't even asked in either one of them. So.
Well, you just made my mind up. For sure she's a single. I was going to use Molly Moo, but I still am on 1 ticket. But my main ticket, my big ticket, Heavenly Sunday is my single. Gino, you might have to use that one. You didn't even add it on your ticket.
I watched her races too, and they're good. My only concern is she was loaded, and then the rail, she got through really nicely on the rail. It was one of those where, how come I never get a horse to get through on the rail like that, right? Like everything sort of went well in this kind of a race. I'm probably will use her spreading out, but I might want a little bit more of a price than I would get at like 3-1 on her. I would maybe want like 5-ish, but I don't have any knocks on her ability as a horse whatsoever. Ton of ability, and she fits quite well in there. That's a tough race.
All right, so Gino will be on tomorrow at AM 8:30 at 9 o'clock in the morning. They go over all the
8
races.
o'clock.
8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. And some sports bets as well. Of course, the super big game is coming up soon. So I'm sure you guys will have insight on that as well. Gino's on that show. Where else can we see you, Gino?
Yeah, best place to follow me on social media. On Twitter, it's me, Gino B. And if you download podcast, mine's called That's What G Said. We cover all the big races every weekend. Lots of Santa Anita, lots of Gulfstream right now. And then whatever's going on in the world of sports. So now we'll be talking a lot of college basketball and NBA moving over from the NFL season. So we'll be here every week previewing these coast to coast or pick sixes or whatever big races are happening at Santa Anita. And always love talking races with you guys.
I love it. I'm going to be spending most of my day tomorrow right here at a Taste of Miami,
Nice.
right here at Santa Anita. We put up some decoration. We got great Cuban food, some Cuban drinks, mojitos and stuff, some cigars. I bought a crazy Cuban outfit, so I'm going to be styling and profiling tomorrow and having a great time here. All right, Gino, remind them about the great stuff this weekend with the guarantees and everything.
Yeah, we've got the Coast to Coast Pick 5, which we just went through, which goes from Gulfstream and Santa Anita back and forth. You've got the $1 million guarantee on Saturday in the Pick 6. If you're the only winning ticket, you'll get a $1 million bonus on top. So just unbelievable. Then on Sunday, there's a mandatory payout in the Pick 6 at Santa Anita. So huge wagers all weekend long. And then a free contest on both Saturday and Sunday. Pick'em.santanita.com. First Bet also has some huge contests this weekend, some handicapping contests that you can play right online on your account if you can want to register right from there. So, George, there's never a shortage of opportunities these weekends. Like, you can't tell us you don't have chances or wagers or different things to get involved in. We've given you all of the options you could possibly ask for.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You both were wonderful. And hopefully Chappie will be back next week and we'll do it all over again. Have a great weekend.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everybody.